Yeah, and I guess to implement some of these ideas, is it in your mind, require additional staffing, technology, or kind of, I guess how would you just implement these?
Technology is definitely a part of it. Training, staff training, support for the staff as well. We expect a lot out of our teachers, and they, especially after this pandemic, have done an amazing job. They're, amazing. But we know that they want to see things come back differently. They want to see we've heard over and over again how they want to see a more personalized approach to their students, because then they feel they feel like they can make an impact and change at this student level. So technology being a part of it, making sure that every student has a laptop. The federal government, we should be ensuring that every household in America with school-age kids has free Wi-Fi. That should just be a part of being a student in this country, at least, or in California, because how can they learn? And how can they have access to all the tools and resources that you and I regularly have access to, not just on our phones, but at home on a computer and a machine that they can do real schoolwork.
No, right. And I guess, with everything, how schools work, it's always the question of, the budget and funding. Kind of what are your thoughts or ideas? And, have you started approaching people kind of looking in how to implement and kind of, I guess, how to pay for some of this?
So we know that there are funding bills, and rules are changing all the time about how we fund certain schools and learning models. I know that a lot of district schools are implementing independent study programs right now because they need to offer alternatives to students who aren't comfortable going back into the classroom, or for families who have specific needs that necessitate that. So the funding is not just seat-based funding. There are a lot of ways to fund. So there's definitely ways to do this that makes sense, on both sides, on whether you're on whichever side of the aisle that you're on.
Right. And I guess in many ways, maybe, a lot of these ideas could save money. Is that right?
Absolutely. If you think about the economic impact of recovering a dropout, they are less likely to burden public services and public health costs. It's just like any idea that when the tide goes up, all the boats in the harbor rise. It's that same idea. So investing in a student and in their education, that they see it through to completion with skills that will support their future. The economic value of that is exponential. And when you compare that to the lost tax revenue if they're not working or contributing, and then the community value of a high school graduate is that they're more engaged. They care more about what's happening in their local community. They're more, they vote more, they volunteer more. That's, think about the value of that too. So, it's kind of a no-brainer, I think, but maybe it's not as clear to people. We take for granted that everyday people just understand the value of education. It's kind of like this thing that we should all know already, but I think it makes sense for us to remind people. And after this these past couple of years, education is at the top of all of our minds. And in our poll, we saw that parents, it was the number 2 top concern among parents. And the first one was the economy, and number 2 was education. So it is, it's on their minds, and it's.
Make sure you just click the button below and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with all our news and updates.